I actually think a lot of these questions about what consciousness is and how weird it is and all this is going to go away once we can sort of visualize it. So I'm very much into figuring out how to try and visualize these things so people can really see what's meant when they say, like, building a model of the world and how that brings consciousness. So one of the things we're trying to do is so we have this like virtual world simulation inside the AI mind, and it's the stuff that comes into its senses. It uses that to build a model of the world, and then this model is visualized through this kind of like video game interface. So that's not a perfect model. It was exactly like what Jeff is saying. It's built from what you think is there, not what's really there, because all this sensory information gets compressed and then it gets regenerated back out into reality in your mind. So what you can do is you can turn off the robot's sensory, its kind of feed forward input, and you can allow its world model to just generate. And this is kind of like us when we dream. So our senses are sort of shut off to the most part, and we kind of dream. And I think most people would say they're still conscious when they're dreaming. I mean, that's an interesting question. But the cool thing is you could do this in a robot today. Like, you can turn off all its cameras and its touch sensors and all its inputs, and you can have this loop that goes around where its model is generating a visual input for its feature extractor. It's using that to check its world model is realistic, and then it's suggesting actions in the same way that its goal system would normally work, and it's running through those actions in its own self model. So you can actually watch these AI systems dreaming in real time. And we're not quite there yet getting it all working and everything, but I think very soon you'll be able to see these things dreaming, and I think it'll be very much like human dreams. And then at that point, I think people will be like, okay, if I see a robot or an AI dreaming just like I do, well, maybe it's conscious like I am.
That was, I think, Suzanne, you bring up a really great point. It's very hard to convey these concepts to people. I struggle with it. I'm not very good at it. I try to come up with metaphors and analogies, but anyone who can really come up with a way of, especially with, some sort of visual animation or whatever to convey these concepts, it would be very, very valuable, because it's hard to do that. I'll just make one little point about dreaming. I thought you might find it interesting. I've always been surprised about dreaming. I know when you're in a dream, you might think, oh, yeah, I'm conscious, but if you think about it, usually most of us, like certainly myself, we don't remember almost all of our dreams. They're almost all forgotten. You only remember a dream when you wake up during a dream. Then then it's like, it often fades really quickly. I don't know if you all have that experience, right? So I think what's going on in dreaming, we're actually not laying down those memory traces. At least we're not laying them down for more than a few seconds. So in a dream, you might have, recall what happened in the last 30 seconds or something like that, but nothing earlier. And so we're really just not laying down those memories. And so when you wake up in the morning, you're not conscious at all of what you dreamed about for most of the night. So I think that's dreaming is an example when you turn off the memory formation, at least one level of it, you lose consciousness. And just as a very famous, many people will know this, a famous patient named HM who had his hippocampi removed, and he lost the ability to form any new long-term memories. And he could hold a conversation as long as he didn't have to remember something for more than a few seconds. But it was a very sad case, but he described his own personal experience because he remembered what it used to be like before he had his surgery. He said, my life is like I'm always waking up. I feel like every moment of my life I'm waking up. And that's the sort of the experience when you get sort of waking out of a dream. It's sort of there, then it fades away. And I always imagine him being like just waking up from a dream and it's there, but then it fades away. Anyway, but he couldn't form new memories.